Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session with Chava. Today I got that Rick and Morty on.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Oh, geez, Rick. And we got 4 questions that we're going to be discussing like last time. Yeah, and this one we're going a little bit back in time, and we're going to talk about where actually me and Chava met, which is in the university. Because maybe the last session, I think it was I mean, this first question is like a little bit more personal, and it's a little different than the other three. The other three are more like theory, philosophical, and this one is a little bit to like get to know us, like who are these guys, or where do they meet? So yeah, the question says, what are some things you remember learning from when you two were together in university? I don't know if you want to start with this one, Chava.
I mean, things that I learned. I mean, Juan Manuel's classes, man. I,
Oh, right.
I remember those a lot. And
Yeah.
also with Midas, with the self-access stuff. I think those helped me a lot. But there's something that I do remember a lot, and I wanted to ask you, do you
Uh-huh.
still have our book?
Oh, the book. I think I have this USB where it like I think all of the classes saved. I think I have it on there.
Like
Yeah,
get across?
exactly. Yeah, I remember that we did
I
it.
remember our book, man. That
Yeah.
was something nice.
Yeah, that was.
I would say that many things that I'm actually putting into practice are like developing material. I mean, maybe it's
Uh-huh.
not like the best, but a lot of things that I'm putting into practice with my material that I'm making, it is things that I learned from university, and also
Uh-huh.
with teacher Anna, those evaluations and stuff like exams and those
Mm,
things. Yes, I
right.
think things that I do remember a lot, but I can't be able to put them into practice are Saskia's, like cycling,
Oh, right.
because I mean, since that moment and up to now, well, right now I'm not working with kids, but I mean, most of my work has been with kids, and there
Uh,
are many interesting things that you could have put into practice, many things that we learned there, but I mean, the system is not like it cannot work with those things.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I do remember a lot of things. I remember them,
Yeah.
but if you ask me right now, like what specifically, oof, I mean, maybe everything that is related to practice and evaluation and trying to help students to start like learning by themselves, like self-access learning. Mm-hmm.
Mm, right. Yeah, because we saw a lot of that also, and that's in a way that's how they treated us too. They were very like, you read, you do the
Here
presentations,
are the
you
contents.
evaluate. Yeah, they were like, you take care of everything, and we were kind of like, whoa, where are the teachers, right?
I know. What was that
Yeah.
class that it was only presentations? That it was here is the summary, here are the topics, you make presentations.
Oh, there were many like that. I think one
It
of
was
them
Johanna's,
was
right?
yeah, I think yeah, where they just gave us the book and they were like, just
Yeah.
present. Juan Manuel did that too, in a couple of classes.
I mean, he did, but he had something different because he actually knew the topics. So when
Oh
you
yeah.
start like babbling stuff that it wasn't what he asked, he will be like, "Nah, it is not like this. It is like that." Or he will do the same
Mm,
thing that you do. Like he would throw like question like, "And what about this?" And if you didn't prepare the topic, it was like, "Damn." But I mean,
yeah.
he actually did those things. But I remember that he knew. But this other teacher, I I already forgot her name. It was Joanna, right?
I think I remember I don't really remember their names. I just remember like that there I remember there were 3 kinds that even as a group we said that there was one teacher that was like, I think it was Saskia, like, where did you see that? And we were like, well, you told us to read it in chapter 6 or whatever. And there was another teacher that would just stare at us while we were presenting because she didn't know what we were talking about because she obviously didn't know the content. And
Uh-huh.
the third type of teacher, yeah, because that I think we had teachers that knew and teachers that didn't know. And yeah, you're right. Juan Manuel did know because the one time, well, I remember him teaching the difference between learning and acquisition. And man,
Uh-huh.
I was blown away by that class. I was like, man, this class is awesome because he just like, he had his little presentation. He just started explaining like language acquisition, language learning. They're different because of this and this and this. And I was just like, oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, that was a good class.
When he asked us to present approachings, there is one
Uh-huh.
that I do remember, and it actually was yours, like the silent method.
Oh, yeah. The different approaches too.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. And then we had some,
Montoro's classes.
oh yeah, Montoro. Yeah, he knew his stuff, man, like analytically,
Yeah,
surgically.
and
Yeah, I
James.
think.
Actually, I really enjoyed James's classes.
Yeah.
Social linguistics.
Oh yeah, social linguistics. And he taught us Italian, right? Like 2 semesters, I think.
One. Yeah. Well,
One. Yeah, something
I
like
just
that.
learned how to say like yo tengo una demanda.
Oh yeah, the demanda. What the hell was that?
Like I have a question.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, the
Como
demanda.
canes schiacciato.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of
Digo, pero
sketchy.
chato.
Yeah, pero chato. Oh
Yeah,
man, yeah.
those were good classes, but if you ask me, I didn't learn anything about Italian. I mean, I really enjoyed more like again Juan Manuel's classes with German.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, we had, I think with him we had the 2 semesters, right, of
Yes,
German.
German.
Yeah, those were good. Yeah, he knew his stuff. But I think sometimes he would be late or he wouldn't show up. Also, that was kind of like the bad thing about him.
But I mean,
Yeah, but
it was few times because I
yeah,
remember having his classes.
yeah,
Is
right.
is Ulysses still working with him?
Not sure. I haven't heard anything from like the caddy days or the caddy people. I
Mm,
don't really know what
what they're doing
they're
now.
doing. Yeah, I mean, I know they're doing like they're teaching things still. That I think they're doing TOEFL too. Um, so yeah, they're still on that. Yeah, yeah. The one thing that I think I remember, I don't know why I have this thought or whenever I think about this question, like what do you remember from college, right? Because I think that's something that should be important for you as an adult, that you're like, okay, you went to college, like what did you learn? What did they teach you there? I don't know why I always think back to like this Japanese class with this girl. I don't remember her name, but someone spilled like coffee. I think I spilled coffee on my notebook, and my notebook was like like wet with coffee.
Maria Eugenia, the blonde
Yeah,
one. Yes.
yeah, I think it was her. And she was teaching us Japanese that no, she wasn't even teaching us Japanese. She was teaching a different class, but she knew Japanese and she was just like, "Oh, yeah, I know this stuff." And we were kind of like, "Oh, teacher, what is that?" And she just started
Uh-huh.
kind of teaching Japanese
Yes. I also
Saturday morning.
remember Mariana,
Oh, I don't really remember her.
Mariana Salmerón, Meche's twin sister.
Oh, yeah, the twin sister.
Yes. I
She
remember
taught
that one
us.
because it was also about making material. And I remember that I made a supposedly children's book.
Ah,
And I mean, again, since I'm better at it with children's, like almost since we finished. So yeah, I put a lot of things into practice with the kids. I
wow.
mean,
Yeah.
Magali, I remember a lot about Magali because she had this way of handling kids. So I tried to take the most I could, or to like imitating, or I don't know. But I mean, I got a lot of things from Magali because she was like the one who was an expert on kids.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for teachers that work with children because ever since I like got out of school or whatever, I haven't worked with children. I mean, the only thing like close that I've been with is high school. but mainly I've worked with university students, and yeah, I can't even begin to imagine like because I was watching this like Vice interview where teachers were talking about how they should teach, like how much responsibility parents have, how much the teachers have, how much society has, what they should know, like sex education, drugs, the transgender, the whole thing in the United States right now. And
Okay.
I'm just like, wow, man, that's a lot of shit, like to even consider. Like, there's some people like, just to take an example, or have, or like mention an example, it's the whole sex education thing. Some people are like, yeah, wait until they're in high school, and some people are like, no, as young as like, elementary, primary school children should know as soon as they're 7, 8.
Well, maybe not
And
7, 8. They are actually, well, the last time, which was like 1 year and a half that I was elementary, it was in
uh,
fifth grade. They were teaching sex ed in
yeah, in
fifth
fifth
grade.
grade.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can't really like say, I mean, I'm not really well instructed in children, and I don't have experience with children. So whenever they talk, I mean, I can tell you about university for sure. And actually, my focus on education is more for university, for college students. And I always get frustrated because I say,
You
whenever they
should know
talk
this.
about, huh?
You should know this.
Yeah, you should know this. And like, whenever they talk about like education, they always talk about children. And I'm like, well, I don't think they really take into account university, that much. They're just like education, and then they just start talking about children, children, children. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's part of education, but you also have like college students, technical schools, community
Mhm.
colleges, all these other things. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think, and I wrote this down too. I think this is when I first started diving into the whole world of science. Um, I think before this, I was ignorant. I mean, I wasn't really. I mean, I would read here and there, and I was actually getting my GED in Mexico, El Ceneval. And I mean, I think, uh, but I wasn't like into school. You know what I mean? Like, I was just kind of like whatever. And then I even remember like one of the first classes we had Spanish, and the teacher asked us about like Mexico's ancient civilizations, like Mesopotamia and all these things.
That is not in Mexico, man.
Oh, or no, Mesopotamia, not. It was Mesoamerica.
Yes.
Mesoamerica, yeah, and those type of things. And I remember Smeda started like just naming them off. She was like, yeah, this, that. And I felt so bad. I was just like, man, I don't know shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Like, and slowly but surely, I started getting into it and really liking it. And I think for me it was like a game changer, like it changed my whole outlook on school and education, because slowly but surely, like I started getting into it more. And then you and I would do science. Now we're recording it, but we used to do this before, you and I.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's
Well, I
that's what.
mean,
uh
now that you said like I feel ignorant. I mean, we are all ignorant in a way,
Oh yeah.
always, but I have always remembered you like as somebody like really well instructed, because I mean
Oh,
that
thanks.
time when you took another career that you were like studying
Yeah.
MBA and also psychology,
Yeah.
damn, I was like, this man is able to do anything. And you were also reading about Viktor Franklin, yes, yes,
Yeah,
Viktor
Viktor
Franklin,
Frankl. Uh-huh.
and those things about existentialism. And I was like, I mean, you did ignore things, but you were also instructed in many others, man.
Thanks. Yeah, same with you. I remember like one of the most mind-blowing experiences that I had with you was when and you did it like so like chill, just out in the hallway one day. You were talking about how the Romans are actually like the Americans now, and and
Yeah.
and, and you broke it down like the whole history of it. And I even remember like I was so blown away. And I think after that we told teacher Karina about what you had done, and we were like, do it again, do it again. And then you were, I think you were like kind of under pressure, and you were like, I don't really want to do it again. But yeah, because in that moment it just came out like spontaneously, and like, yeah, you're basically like the Romans with their, the dominating like attitude. They're the United States people now, the Americans.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh man, that's a crazy ass idea. And yeah, it's probably true, because they still have that like, we're in control. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
teacher Karina. I was almost forgetting. We got this
uh,
one, El Zarco, Los Plateados, and Hasta No Verte, Jesús Mío, on those books, right?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Crónicas de una
another.
muerte anunciada.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
she,
remember
she.
this.
I still have the ball somewhere that she used to make us like juggle for
Yeah.
brain exercise or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, she was a good teacher. She was like very dynamic, that's for sure.
Yes. Well, she also worked with children.
Ah, right. Yeah, she was normalista.
Yes.
Right, right. Yeah, I learned a lot. I think from like the experiences. I mean, like this student, like a week ago, he asked me like, "Do you think I should do, um, like online classes or do them like face to face, like in person?" And I told him, well, I think it really depends on you. If you're more disciplined, I would recommend that you do it online. But if you're not and you want to socialize, then go, be in the school physically. But I think it really comes down to social education, like not socialism, but like you do learn a lot from like your classmates and the way that they are, and the things they're doing. Like, I remember this one time, like Ponchao got a laptop and HP, and then I ended up buying one like just a couple years ago because of him, because he had this like speaker on there, and
Mhm.
well, the speaker from the HP sounded nice, and I was like, oh, HP has got a good speaker and it built into the laptop. So I think you learn from those things, like the decisions that your classmates are making and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I'm curious. Where are you working at right now?
Oh, right now I'm at this university that's called Cuauhtemoc.
Oh, there is a Cuauhtemoc University there too.
Yeah,
They're a franchise. They have one
yeah.
here too.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a franchise. Yeah, they
I mean,
got
I'm not
some.
working there actually, but I'm working at an academy, and I have some students that come from there.
Oh, nice.
Architecture, lawyers, international business.
Yeah,
Lots from students.
a lot of business. So you're with children, right?
Not right now. Actually,
Oh,
in May is gonna be 1 year that I stopped working with children because
oh,
my last joint here working with children was bad. I
yeah,
mean,
really?
yeah, they were like, oh, we have this humanistic multiple intelligences approach, and I was like, okay, I can do that, and they weren't actually using it. I had this little
Uh,
girl, first grader, who it is a pandemic kid. I mean, she spent
hmm.
practically all her preschool at home, like being
Oh,
homeschooled.
dang. Uh-huh.
So she went to elementary without knowing how to write.
Oh,
So I
dang.
noticed that everything that I was able to tell her, she could draw it. Like, draw me a cat, or draw me a pink ball, or draw me a green horse, or whatever. And she would do it. She would draw it. So most
Hmm.
of her notes were actually drawings, and I will sign them. And then this teacher will be like, "Hey, teacher, this girl is only drawing on her notebook." And I was like, "Okay, yes, multiple intelligences. She doesn't know how to write." Yeah, but you need to teach her how to write. I mean, do I need to teach her how to
Uh,
write, or I need to teach her English? Because I mean, she proved that she was able to understand like English. So yeah,
right.
at the end, I wasn't like comfortable at that school. So at the end, I mean, they renounced to me and I quit. Now
Right.
I'm working in an academy, and it is nice. I mean, I can
Yeah.
I can be a full teacher. You know, I still have this opportunity of creating material like practices and
Mm.
yes, and worksheets and stuff, but maybe not exams or other kind of activities. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you that I don't think we work well with schools that pretend to be something they're not. They preach this and then they're really that, and it's just like like a straight up incoherence. And the worst part is when like the people there that are working there don't even communicate.
mm-hmm,
Like I
exactly.
was yeah, I was recently fired from this school because yeah, they didn't even tell me why. Like they like uh the coordinator evaluated me like a day before. Like she just ran up in my class and she's like, I'm just gonna observe your class. And I was like, all right, and I gave the class. I was kind of nervous, because I was like, I don't like being observed. And this was like out of nowhere. And then the next day, she calls me like into the office and she's like, and then the principal there is like, yeah, you're fired. Any questions? And I was just like, no, whatever. I kind of didn't want to be there anyway. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. I was only there for like a month, but I didn't like the system. I didn't like the way they worked. I didn't like the students. The students were really like just high school off the walls. Like they were like, yelling, you
Hmm.
know, spilling water, fighting amongst themselves. They weren't paying attention. I was like, yeah, I don't really know how to handle these students. I mean, that was my fault in it that I didn't really know how to discipline. But at the same time, I was like, I'm just here to teach. I'm not here to, you
To
know,
babysit.
um, yeah, like teach you manners or whatever. So yeah, or babysit
Yeah,
exactly. But
you should have gone full Skinner and start with conductism.
right? Yeah, I mean, I thought about that too. Like just the last couple of classes I was there, I would just write up like the page and I was just like, do the page, do the pages. And I would sit down and then they were like, some of them, in their like whatever they were doing, they didn't know what was happening. And like halfway through the class, they would be like, hey, teacher, what are we doing today? And I was just like, right there, the pages, you know, because I was fed up with them. I was like, no, I'm not gonna explain. I'm not gonna yeah, like by
Yeah,
the end, I was expecting them to. That's why I didn't take it like that, because even if they weren't to fire me, I probably would have quit like within the next 3 months or so. Yeah, I mean it was money, but yeah, that wasn't a good thing. But yeah, like that's good where you're working right now
yeah,
that you're able to be a little freer. I mean, I think it's good that they have like a philosophy, but it's like just have your philosophy out there and then just let the teachers do their thing. Let the workers work.
exactly.
Trust them, and that's it. You don't have to be micromanaging because I think micromanaging is like a lot of people do that. And I've seen a lot of family owned businesses and family owned schools. They do that. They micromanage. They're like, oh, give me this and show me this. And how did you do this? And it's like, what, man? And right now I have like chill bosses. They just like let me do my thing. I do my thing on time and everything. And it's all good.
My last gig there in Celaya was like that, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also elementary, but I would say like it is like the best school there, or maybe at
Mm.
least for the teacher, because
Well, yeah.
they were like here is a list. What do you need? Tell me. I get it for you. And the chain of command will work like a clockwork. Because if I had a problem with a student, I will tell my coordinator, and the coordinator will. I mean, it was like the language coordinator, and she will work with the elementary coordinator, and I wouldn't need to talk to the parents. It will be handled by the coordinators. So I
Oh,
mean, it was a very nice school.
yeah, with a clear system.
Yes. Other would be in the situation, I would have stayed there.
Mm. Yeah, right, right. Yes, that's a good thing when they're like that.
I was
All
thinking,
right.
have you
Uh-huh.
ever considered working with kids?
Yeah, I wanted to work with kids. Once I was almost hired. I don't remember why. I think the schedules didn't fit, but I was
Mhm.
going to work with children. I mean, I've taught children in schools like language centers, like
Uh-huh.
Inglés Individual, things like that. But I don't think that really counts because there's like
It's different.
one, yeah. or
when you
with
have
one
like
children.
20 or 30 of those little things going crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I think I could, but I've never done it like with a whole group of kids. I've never done it. I think I could, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
You would develop really interesting skills.
Uh, yeah,
I mean,
probably.
professional skills and also like social. I would say I had this question about psychological stuff. I will tell you like, yeah, you will develop like mental skills or social skills, even parental
Mm.
skills that you don't know you have, because that happened to
Oh
me.
dang!
That
Oh
happened to
dang!
me.
That is for question number 3, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we should just go to question number 3?
I know we can go like in order.
Oh, okay.
I have here some prompts.
All right, all right. Let's go to the second one. Then this one is a little bit more with having to do with human intent, I guess. It's do you think people in general are inherently good or evil, and why?
I had this when I was in high school. I remember having this teacher, this philosophy teacher, who was actually a priest, and he taught us about Machiavelli and Rousseau, and they had like
Uh,
opposing ideas. And they said like
yeah.
Rousseau said that the nature of the human being is being good, and it becomes evil with the environment and situations. And Machiavelli was like backwards, like human beings are evil unless the system forces them to be good. And
Mm,
well, from those two, I would say that maybe uh human beings have like the a great potential of both, but it depends on on the environment.
the environment.
Yeah,
Mm,
nature versus nurture.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it is.
debate.
It is nurture, because I mean,
Yeah.
you can see it not only with people. I mean, also with animals. The way they interact, or the thing that surrounds them, it
Uh,
dictates if they're gonna be evil or not. I mean, from
yeah.
time to time, you will have some cases where this person will receive everything, and just by no apparent reason, they do bad things. Or you could see those situations that there are kids living in very bad places, and still they
Uh,
believe that doing good is the right thing to do, and they do. I
um,
think those are like rare cases. I think that actually what makes you either good or evil, it is your surroundings.
yeah.
And
Because
again,
even.
yes,
Uh,
I mean, I
no,
was
you
about
go.
to say like I noticed this also with kids. I mean, you
Uh,
could see like very nice kids, like well behaved and polite and ordered, and they will take care of their stuff. But it was because how they were treated. And those who were like mean kids, they were abandoned kids. They were educated by tablets or TV or step parents.
right. Yeah, or not their parents.
Uh-huh.
Because you got the epigenetics, which even tell you that your genetics or your DNA changes as as you evolve, right? Like from one generation to the next, based on your surroundings, on your context. I mean, DNA changes; it's not stable. So you are born a certain way thanks to your DNA, and like certain things in your context activate certain genes or don't. But at the end of the day, the DNA you have is fluid too, because it's going to change like into the next generation and so on. So I think context is important, but yeah, this like analogy or like example that they always say, if you were to put a gun to my head and make me choose, I think I would have to choose good. And I don't know, just hear me out on this idea. I think everybody is good, even if you do bad things, according to I mean, we would have to define what is good and what is bad, but I think just like in a broad sense, good is anything beneficial to that one person that is viewing it. So like a criminal that steals or whatever will think that's good because he's gonna eat or he's gonna feed his family or he's gonna be able to go get drunk or whatever. So um, I think everybody, even if you do bad things according to society, you're still good because you're benefiting either yourself or the people around you or whatever. If you go like really moral and you're really doing good things for other people. I think the only way that you can be bad is if you kill yourself, because if you kill yourself, you're saying basically that you don't want anything to do with this life, and like nothing that you do is going to benefit you, so you just want to like terminate it. I
What
think
about if you want to benefit somebody with your death? What about
if you ben
sacrifice, martyrs?
Oh, if you do it with that intention, like a parent that's going to save their children, or yeah, or like martyrs that die for a cause. Yeah, not like that. If the intent is not, because it depends on the intent. If the intent is like, I'm gonna kill myself because I don't wanna have to work for anything. I'm tired, I'm depressed, of this life and everything. I think that's the only thing that you can do that's like bad, because you're literally like harming yourself. Unless, yeah, you're right. Unless there's a cause behind it and you're dying because you're trying to save somebody else, or you're dying for the cause, or like a soldier in war, then yeah, that wouldn't count, because that would be beneficial for other people at the very least. I mean, they say, I think in the Sherlock series, like death doesn't happen to you, it happens to other people, right? Because when you die, well, you die, you're gone.
That's it. That's
But
the end of it. But people
yeah,
remember you.
but
They're
the
hurt.
people, yeah, they heard, they mourn you, or they're happy if they hated you or whatever. Yeah, so they're the ones that are gonna experience your death. Your death is not yours, it's other people's. But yeah, that would be, I mean, I don't know if I'm right in that sense. But this is basically saying that anything that you do is to benefit you, even if it has to do with like harming other people or whatever. They're considered like good behaviors, at least based on you. But and then I have here, evil is a result of the puzzling inconsistencies among human interactions, which could also explain why you have needs, I have needs, and our needs are not coherent, or they're not fitting together. So one of us is going to end up winning, the other one losing, getting frustrated, and that's when like evil pops up, because we all have like different needs. So sometimes they're according, they can travel parallel, one right next to each other, and sometimes they're in conflict. And when they're in conflict, that's when like bad things start to happen. But yeah, what do you think about this one?
And when you mention that doing bad things that benefit you or the people that you care for, I mean, well, it goes back again to that thing. What is good? What is evil? And I mean, I understand, and maybe putting it into that way, like what is the true nature of human? So that one, like to provide like wellness. So maybe yes, you're right. So humans are like naturally good, but still, I don't know. They said humans are social creatures. So even if you are trying to help a small group, if you're hurting others, isn't it still like being evil? I mean, like a good evil. Well, how they call it,
uh,
like chaotic neutral and like lawful good. Those
or
things.
necessary evils.
No, that will be different. I think necessary evils will be with the opposing ideas. I was thinking
Like
about. something political like right now here in our country. I mean, they said, "What do you want? Do you want El PRI to be in power again?" That is necessary evil, because I mean they're
Uh,
evil, but it is something that is necessary.
right. Yeah, because yeah, like it goes back to that like or that metaphor that says, would you kill one person to save five, or kill
Five.
five and save one? Yeah, right. So it's like, well, more are gonna die if you don't if you don't kill this one person. But then it's like, but killing one person is bad. So you're in a dilemma, like a moral, ethical dilemma. Yeah, yeah, and we would have to define good and evil, because I mean, what is really good, what is really bad? There's a lot there to talk about.